Hello and welcome to another exciting episode on Fixing Nigeria with Dr. Sunday Adelaja. I'm your host, Anu Ojo. It's always a pleasure to be on your screens every Friday on this special program on Dr. Sunday's platform. Fixing Nigeria is the name. And if you're Nigerian and you've been following us, I'm sure that you are aware that this program is dedicated to bringing and offering practical solutions to the fundamental problems and issues that has ravaged our nation. A lot of people, especially Nigerians, have come to a conclusion that Nigeria is irredeemable, meaning there is no hope for Nigeria. This has led to many factions and many groups of people saying, Nigeria, we don't want Nigeria. We want our part. We want our Biafra. We want our Yoruba part and Odua and all of that. However, we are coming from a different vantage position. We're coming from a different perspective, and we're saying that Nigeria can and will be fixed. But if you've been following us, you would also be aware that our proposition for Nigeria is not for Nigeria to be repaired, because truthfully speaking, the state of Nigeria as it is right now, it is irreparable. We can't repair Nigeria. So what is our solution? We have to replace Nigeria. So our content, our conversations are directed towards how we can replace Nigeria. And the very first thing that we have to replace in Nigeria and in Nigerians are our value system, our mindset, and the way we think as a people. So you're very much welcome, everyone watching us all over the world. I'd like to encourage you to share this video to your Nigerian friends, to your family members. And if you're not Nigerian, well, this episode will definitely be of great benefit to you, because we'll be discussing principles, we'll be discussing values that would be beneficial to you and to your nation, to bring your nation to civilization and to bring development to it. As usual, we always start the episode giving all of our viewers snippets into the last episode. We're going to have that shown now. Please stay tuned. Why don't we pay attention to details, and why is there no emphasis on quality in Nigeria?
For you to have quality, you need precision. But our country is not a country of precision. We are not familiar with precision. Maybe some people in the university could be familiar with it, or in colleges or professors, but they are not. It's not a popular concept in our culture. We don't know what precision is all about. And when you don't have the understanding of precision, you can never have quality. Quality is about precision. And for you to have precision, there are two things that you must know and you must be familiar with. Precision is an outshoot of is made in Nigeria, just by looking at it. Not just because he's Nigerian, but I can point out 2 or 3 things for you right now in your clothes. Well, the same thing with me, because they bring clothes to me. So that's one of the few things Nigerians are proud of taking abroad to their relatives who are overseas. They want to give Nigerian attire and Nigerian dress to people abroad, but when you look properly at those dresses, either it is the button that is not fixing, or it's not even there at all, or it is you have to be careful all the time to button it up.
That's right.
Or it's just either the hole where the button is about to enter is not a wall.
Or it's too small.
Or it's
wrongly placed.
Yeah.
True.
Or the length is wrong, or the thread is not straight. Just everything they do is just substandard and inferior.
Dr. Sunday.
Yes.
The question is, how do we build a culture of attention to details and quality maintenance in Nigeria?
The first thing, like I said, of course, I've told you the foundation, the foundationals, the basis of quality, excellence, and maintenance of, maintenance culture and paying attention to details. But there are elements that must be built into our subconscious mind so that we'll be able to live this culture of quality, excellence, and paying attention to details. One is, for us to be able to have this, we need to have a system of supervision. In everything we do, there must be supervision. We need to put it as, if you go to America, every work has a supervisor. They have supervisors everywhere. What does supervision, this culture of supervising, supervision culture, what does it provide? It provides the maintenance of due process. So nobody should do any work anywhere without it being supervised and certified. Supervision is the first element.
And the role,
it must be built into the culture.
Yes. And the role of supervisors is to make sure that due process is followed.
Is followed. It must become
a mindset.
The mindset into the subconsciousness of the whole national system. So supervision doesn't have to be human beings. So when you go to the hotel or when you go to the airport and you see camera everywhere, that's supervision. It doesn't have to be people.
Yeah.
When people are taking bribes in the street and the police station, that's because there are no supervisions. No system, no culture of it. And when the people, individuals who are supposed to be supervising are taking bribes, it's because there is no supervision over them.
True.
It is not a system and a culture of like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Of supervision. Is that one clear?
Yeah, get it. I got it.
That supervision leads to certification. Because the supervisors must certify, and anybody that certifies anything puts a signature in it. It's like a death sentence. Because by the time they oversight, the people who are supposed to supervise you come and see your signature, and the person you have certified that he did the thing, they didn't do it well, you are in the soup. So you and the people will have to go to jail. Death sentence. But it has to, that demands a culture of truth. So because supervision is the affirmation of truth. It's for affirmation of truth. When that is not existent, like in that book, when that is not existent, there are only two things that are left in this society. Non-truth and lies. The next thing that must be inculcated into the mindset and the subconsciousness of Nigerians is
All right. Well, Dr. Sunday was just about to say the next thing. So if that would stir up an hunger in you to figure out what is the next thing he mentioned there, the way to do that is to go to Dr. Sunday's YouTube channel. That is Dr. Sunday Adelaja. You go to the playlist titled Fixing Nigeria. You would see all of our previous episodes on Fixing Nigeria, and you can watch everything and listen to the whole conversation. That's the way to do it. So Dr. Sunday Adelaja on YouTube. Fixing Nigeria is the name of the playlist, and you can watch the full episode. That was just a snippet. Well, it's with great pleasure I would like to introduce Dr. Sunday Adelaja to today's episode. You're very much welcome, sir. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Welcome to another episode of Fixing Nigeria.
I'm full of thoughts. I'm deep in my thoughts as you are playing that and talking about what you are talking. The first thought is that Fixing Nigeria. I like the way you did it, because we shouldn't be giving out all the secrets the way you are doing it before.
Yeah.
We should only intrigue people, and if they want, they could go and follow it up for free.
That's right.
But then the question that is bugging my mind as I was looking, and when you caught me and introduced me, is the fact that Fixing Nigeria, as much as we are talking about this, that is not the most watched playlist on my YouTube channel. Same with the books I've written about Nigeria. Yeah. They are the least sold books in my list.
Amazon.
Of books.
Yeah.
Even in Nigeria itself, not just in Amazon, but even in Nigeria itself.
Wow.
The Nigerian books, that anything that has Nigeria in it is not selling. So I'm thinking, we are paying so much price, putting so much energy and effort into providing solution, and it's that people are not interested. Well, that is one question that was in my mind. Then the second question is, I was looking at how dap you are today, and I'm thinking, wow, some lady somewhere is going to be lucky. And I'm thinking, maybe somebody is already sizing you up.
Well, we're preparing for that.
You don't know all the people that are doing their work behind the scene too.
It's good if we're both working. Thank you so much for the compliment.
So the work should be two-sided.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Keep on working. Keep on working.
Yeah, you've taught us well.
Keep on working.
Thank you so much for the compliment, Dr. Sunday. Thank you. Well, today, it's a rather important discussion. Written there is the topic for today's discussion, and it's almost like a charge and an instruction to Nigerians. And it's one that I want all Nigerians to pay attention to, because it's high time we actually address this issue. And it is that Nigerians must stop equating education with eloquence. Nigerians must stop equating education with eloquence. I would first start by saying why I wanted us to discuss on this subject is because I think it's a known fact that the level of education in any country is one of the major keys to the level of development and civilization of that nation. And if Nigeria will become a developed and civilized nation, then we must pay attention to education. Now, it gets worse when we have a warped understanding of education, and we have a faulty understanding of what education is. And every Nigerian, or maybe most Nigerians, their first interpretation of an educated person is someone who can speak English well, someone who is quite eloquent in speech, someone whose rhetorics is off the hook and can speak good English without any grammatical blunder, and maybe someone who speaks with an American accent or with a British accent. That is what most people would define as education. But today we are saying that Nigerians must stop equating education with eloquence. So the goal is to give the right understanding of what education is. And the purpose of today's discussion is to help fix that wrong and that faulty understanding of education, and to provide the true and right understanding of what education really means, and how we can, through the tool of education, bring national development and civilization to our nation. So this is the twist of today's show. I want to start with the video. Like I always do. This man is known for his grammatical prowess. Most Nigerians know him, and they laugh when he speaks. This is a former Senator Patrick Ogbayingbon, something like that. So I want us to watch his interview on Channels TV, and then we're not picking on him. He's an obvious example, and his videos they're everywhere on internet. So this is not us being vindictive, just an example, and then we use his example to discuss. So let's have the first video, please.
Of a state who is supposedly a ACN and in opposition federally. What's your thought about what has been happening? Looking at it as a Nigerian, what's your thought about what's been happening in Rivers State?
Let me say prestissimo, that is as quickly as possible, that the political krinkum, or if you like, the political higi-haga that has enveloped the politics of Rivers State for a period of time now has all the trappings of an odoriferous saga. Kum gagatwan gaga. And I am maniacally bewildered that this flashpoint is of no serious concern to the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is because all the flashpoints of war that has snowballed and transmogrified into bringing about a calamitous end for Nigeria always had their terminus arco, their source of origin, that is, either in one state or in one region. For me, as far as I am concerned, I can see the ship of the Nigerian state hovering around the political Bermuda Triangle. And if we do not take very urgent and responsible steps to meander the interstices of eschewable cataracts, landmines, waterfronts, icebergs, and oxbolecs, the ship of the Nigerian state just now has all the capacities and possibilities of birthing in a disastrous and pestilential aqua of a terminus ad quem. Let me say that my critical history and historiography of the study of the war of attrition and belligerency in Rivers State did not commence with the Obiokbo political tendency. It commenced, strictly speaking, with the suspicion by some power centers that Governor Rotimi Amechi nurses an ambition for the vice presidency of this country.
So are you saying all of this is happening because of the 2015 election?
Oh, it's very crystal clear, like the biblical teke mene you fasting. It's audible to the deaf and visible to the blind. And in any case, no less a political personage than the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Jonathan, has been able to have confirmed that.
How?
That he said so. We read that in the papers that 2015 is the faucet origo of this crisis, is the faucet origo of the political tension in the country, and he urged political dramatist personnel to put their sheets in their cell. That 2015 is still far away. But if you look at the totality of the crisis in Rivers State just now, it leaves me with just two conclusions. One, that 2015 is inherently laden with a political and democratic thalidomide. Two,
So thalidomide will be
stillborn.
okay.
It may be stillborn.
Okay.
Two, whereas some social scientists like myself have gone to town for donkey years now saying that what we have is not a democracy, but what we have is civilian rule. But by recent events, I'm even tempted to say, no. Nigeria is neither witnessing civilian rule, nor is Nigeria witnessing even democracy. What we have at best is a form of government I call kakisto-mobile plutocracy. And that is bad for the nation. Is it within the Obiokpo contest? Is it within the NGF election contest? Where 16 persons are more than 19 persons. If within the microscopic ceramics and cadence of 36 governors who are supposed to be suzerains of democratic ethics and ethos in their respective terras of mass, you cannot adjudge democratic scores.
So how?
When
you can't help but laugh. No, it's just every shit. Have you watched this video, Dr. Sunday, before? You've not watched it? Wow, you just have to laugh. I'm just thinking our viewers who are watching right now, and maybe
I think he's trying to justify his name.
is
Obiagbon.
What's the meaning of the name? I don't know.
I mean, it's not Obiagbon, it's Obahegbon.
Obaegbon. What do you know the meaning?
No, but I can guess.
Okay, what's the meaning?
That the king is the one that is wise. The king is wise, I think.
Okay.
So I think Edo people will be able to tell us. But from that name, the way it's written, I think it means the king is the one that is wise.
He's wise.
So he wants to be the wise one.
The wise one. And it's confusing everybody there.
Yeah, since you said it is through eloquence, you can determine wisdom and smartness.
Yeah.
So he's trying to prove it.
Wow.
That he's the one that is wise.
He's wise. Wow. First, let's talk about the root cause of Nigerians interpreting eloquence as being educated.
Is that a question to me already?
Yes. Why? Why do we have that?
First of all, you always come out with these topics. And your topics, I don't know where you are taking them from, but they are so succinct and so precisely needed. It's like they are the real issues that the nation needs to talk about. But people who are peripheral in their thinking and shallow will think that, hey, what are you talking about? I mean, it doesn't make sense. That people that don't have food on their table and you are talking, oh, this is your grammar. That, let people discuss how people can get food on their table. And that's what most people will be thinking as you are raising all these topics. But I think these topics are they are underlining topics for the construction or reconstruction of the nation. So these topics I mean, you deserve a lot of credit just detecting them and being able to bring them to life. So going back to your question, where is it that Nigerians have become a people who are mainly sentimental to the extent of equating eloquence to intelligence?
Yes.
Well, there are about three main factors responsible for that. The first factor would be because we come from, all of us in Nigeria, all our tribes, and not just Nigeria, and Africa origin, people of African origin, we belong to the people that historically rely on oral tradition to communicate knowledge, wisdom, and history. So as a result of that, most of our traditions and our history are transmitted and kept in history by people who sing praises, who recite poems, and who recite one thing or the other. So our tradition is unlike the modern tradition, which is reading or written tradition. Our own tradition is not written, but it's oral. So when it is not, if in cultures where their tradition is written, you discover that wisdom is regarded in terms of books. Intelligence is assessed by the books you read and the books you write. But in cultures where history and tradition is kept with oral traditions, intelligence is viewed in terms of eloquence. So that is what all of us grew up in. So the people, therefore, who can talk and talk well, they are the people always at the center of events. Even when you go before the coming of the colonial masters, even when you go to the king's courts, you will see that the first people and the most prominent people there in the king's courts are always praise singers.
Yes.
Men who are busy reciting the glory and the fame and the achievements and the feats of the king and the land.
Yes.
And they are the center of all events. Even when the king steps out, you will still see them in the circle. So that tradition of talking, that tradition of being eloquent, that tradition of eloquence and speech, talk, beautiful speech, beautiful talk, is what we are all about. That is our tradition, that is our history. So that will explain why it is still the criteria for prominence and intelligence today. But that is just one. Another aspect, I said there are three.
Three, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give three, maybe I'll even give four.
That would be great.
Another aspect of, another reason that is responsible for this is the fact that powerful men in our culture are men of words. So who are the powerful men? In the African tradition, powerful men are witch doctors. Powerful men are herbalists. Powerful men are juju men. And how do juju men assess, or how do they connect themselves or join themselves to the spirit realm? How do they invoke their authority and their power? They do that through what is called incantations. And incantations are not written. Incantations are only spoken. And the tradition of incantations is African also, and is Nigerian, and almost all tribes and groups in Nigeria are familiar with the whole concept of incantations. And incantation is oral tradition as well. Incantation is spoken mysteries or spoken poems or poetry or spoken mystery, I think is the better word. And when they speak these things, you will see that things happen. And since we all grew up in that tradition that when people speak, they speak some mysterious things or some calculated and some rhythmical words, and things happen. So those kind of speaking is now associated with power. Yeah. So but that when people speak, things move. When people speak, things change. That is what then becomes the desire of everyone. The ability, so that they will also, because everybody craves to be powerful. Yeah. So that they will also will be able to, profile themselves as men of power, men of influence, and men of
authority.
Authority in the society. So that act of speaking becomes a thing that is now generally desired in the old culture, in our old culture. Because the powerful men, that is what they do to exercise their power. They invoke authority through that means. So those are the kind of people who therefore are respected. And that's why it's even unknowing to us. That's what we tend to gear towards. Yeah. Now, that is number 2 reason. Number 3 reason will be the fact that when the colonial masters came, they were speaking another language that was different from the language that most African and Nigerian nations and tribes were speaking. Only people who could understand their language were employed. They were employed as interpreters, translators, they were employed as messengers, servants, secretaries, assistants, home workers. But for that to happen, you have to be able to speak. So your relevance in the society is connected to speaking again. But now connected to speaking English language. So you see where the introduction, where English language now has come into the, because that is what spells out your relevance. Yeah. And even though people who speak their language are powerful and use their incantation and something, but they are all, because they are now, they are no more the rulers of their land. They are rulers now. So anybody who speaks their own language now is reduced to a local champion. But if you want to now have national significance and be recognized by the powers that be, then you have to now be eloquent, but in English. Because that is now what makes the white man to know that, yes, you are qualified to be his assistant or to come to his team. And then the kind of educational system that we had also encouraged and played into this. So because the whole essence of education that was given to us was such that we will be able to communicate with the people. They were just sending you to school so that you will be able to understand instructions and be able to carry out instructions, and then you'll be able to report to them what is needed. So everything in our primary school and secondary school is all connected to written and spoken English, to the extent that the definition of literacy in our culture became such that you are only literate when with the ability to read or write. Read is talking, writing is, understanding what you are saying or what you are going to say. So that is literacy. But if you know the definition of literacy today is the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. but nothing about reading and nothing about writing. Another definition of literacy today is ability to be able to be computer literate and to be able to, find your way in the internet world, web world, and internet, digital world. That's the literacy now. But the literacy that we knew, and even up to today, when people say literate, they will only be thinking about read and write, because that is our own definition. The definition that was given to us at that point from the colonial masters. So that now further emphasizes the role and reinforced the role and place of oral tradition. Albeit now is going to be in the English language. And so people who are able to be fluent in English are now the ones being regarded as capable or being intelligent enough to work with the white man. So it automatically becomes a criteria for intelligence. Then there's another factor more to go.
Please go ahead.
That is responsible for the way we think, such that now we equate eloquence to intelligence or education. The last factor is the fact that when politics was introduced just before independence in our land, the only people who are in politics, and up to today, are people who are able to speak. Either they're able to speak English or they're able to speak eloquently. So, because all the people that we celebrate and you see on TV are only people who are able to speak.
If you can't speak, they won't give you.
If you cannot speak, nobody will give you orders.
Sure.
So the whole nation and the stage and profile and the pedestal only belong to people who could speak and speak eloquently, especially in English. But if you cannot speak eloquently, then you are laughed at. So it becomes you are point of disgrace. So that is another factor. Up to today, that last factor is still not only normal, not just politics, any area of life. The only people you broadcast on TV, the only people you give microphone to, you bring to the stage, you honor, you respect, you introduce, are people who are eloquent.
Wow, this is profound. This is.
I was just wondering, where do you come up with all these topics?
This is profound because this is going straight to the roots. And as you speak, I'm able to connect a lot of dots. The 4 points you gave are so profound, and they give explanation to why we have Nigeria now. I mean, starting from your very first point, that our culture is more an oral culture than writing or reading, meaning we save our culture, and our culture is more about being able to speak. And this also gives an explanation as to why we don't have a lot of our historical facts are not as detailed as other civilized nations as we have today, who were able to document a lot of things. So because our tradition is more oral, then we lack a lot of history that should have been documented. So you go to Nigeria, you want to check some of the history books, you only find just a few. Why? Because our culture and our tradition is more oral than is about reading and writing. That also gives an explanation to why we are known as a people who don't like reading. And there's the whole understanding that we don't have the reading culture, we don't like reading. But if you give a Nigerian the opportunity to speak and to talk, he can talk from today to tomorrow. He will keep talking. But if you give a Nigerian a book to read, it's like difficult to do. This also gives me even better understanding as to the reason behind the lack or the lack of the reading culture in Nigeria. That's from the first point. And then if we go to the second point, to people of power as people who can speak and the witch doctors, that's what we have today. I mean, if you can speak well, you can open a church. That's it. I mean, you don't need to be anointed. You don't need anointing to gather a
Even
crowd.
the GOs are looking for people who can talk very well.
If you're in the church and you can speak well, you are the next pastor.
Parish.
Yeah, you're the next parish pastor. Like, that's it. There's no
arguing the fact.
Arguing the fact. I mean, you can speak. That's it. Because that comes back to our culture and our tradition and our worldview, that people of power are people who, the way to exert power, the way to exert authority is by speaking. So if you can speak well, then people will respect you. If you can speak well, then you can command authority. So this just gives, like you're shining a floodlight, giving understanding as to many things that we see in our societies that people are just like, why do we have this? Why is this happening? People don't have answers to. But this is exactly why we are like this. This is why we are the way we are. So like going back to the roots, even going to your third point, that the education that we received from our colonizers was hinged on just communication. That's it.
That's why they call it grammar school.
Yeah, that's why they have a grammar school, just for communication. And it was like that decades ago, and it's still till now. So you go to school, the proof that you went to school
brilliant,
or that you are brilliant is that you can speak.
So the students who are introverts,
they're not regarded as the brilliant ones. The only ones who are regarded as the smart ones are the ones who can debate. Yes. So if you're someone who you're more with your hand, just like my brother, if you're more there's what they call it,
technical.
You're more technical with your craft. Yeah. If you're a kinesthetic kind of learner,
yes,
you're not regarded as smart in the Nigerian context because you can't speak, or because you're not so into the speaking thing. But the person who can speak, the person who can argue, can debate, is the smart person. There are some other people who are introverts, like you said, who are more of the thinkers. They like thinking, they like analyzing things. They are not regarded as the intelligent ones in class because they don't want to be talking. They're not interested in that. They just want to think. Give me something to think about. Let me create something in my mind and let me put it out. So the educational system does not even regard those kind of people. So what kind of education do we have in Nigeria? We don't even, most schools don't even know that there are different kind of learners. That there are people who are auditory learners, people who are visual learners, people who are kinesthetic. They don't know that. All you just have to do is just come to class, repeat after me, A, B, that's it. So now we come and we say, okay, why are we having very low WAEC results? Why are we having very low pass rates in WAEC? Well, this gives explanation, because what we received from the colonial masters was education not for any other purpose but for communication. We need you to understand us, and we need you to communicate our thoughts and what we want to say to your people, because we don't understand your language. So come, we teach you English, we teach you how to write, you understand us, we use you to communicate to other people, and that's it. And that's how it has been up till this point in time. So we're asking, why don't we have innovations in Nigeria? What is wrong? Why don't we have technical schools? This gives us attention because we don't find it useful. What we just want is go read and learn how to speak, learn how to write. That's it. And then your final part was also very good. I'm thinking, I'm going to show you a video right now. That would show. Let me not give my comments. Can we have the second video? And then the second video will give a just practical example of your final point. And what was the final point? That the people that you put on the stage, the people that you put forward as your representatives or people you give the pedestal to are people who can speak. If you can't speak, you're going to be laughed at. But this person we're going to watch, he wasn't given the pedestal. He fought his way there, but he was still made a laughing stock by Nigerians. Let's have the video, please.
How does that feel to have qualified for the final?
I feel happy, I feel grateful, and I feel fulfilled. I'm happy because I never expected it, but God gave it to me. I'm grateful to Him.
How was the race? Because other athletes have said it's been tricky coming into the home straight with the wind. Was there much wind in your race?
Wow, the wind was very much. I was trying to push out, the wind was still taking me back, but I tried my best. I did my best.
So how are you going to prepare for the final? What will you do now?
The final will be a deadly day. It's going to be either both of us going to die on the line. Because I'm ready to run into the light because I have a black man blood in me. And African people, we are born great. I'm ready for it.
Be careful this time. Listen for the gun for a false start, hey?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Good man, you got a message for your YouTube viewers again?
Well, I'm giving them a salute. I'm telling them I love them. I'm always with them. I will always respect them. I'm grateful to them. And I love them all. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, this is one of our stars in athletics, and he fought his way there to winning that interview. Now, when he had this interview, it was all over the internet.
But not this particular one.
No, not particular one. There are some other ones that because he has done a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
But this one also went around, and all of his interviews. Anytime he has interviews, people don't share those interviews to celebrate his feats as such. They shared the interviews to make a mockery of him. Like, look at the English he's speaking, and then his accents and all of that. So ordinarily, like you said, if this guy wasn't a good athlete that won that interview to be on national TV, on BBC,
They
and
won't
all
have
that,
given him the
he doesn't stand a chance to be interviewed. He doesn't. Why? Because we don't recognize we don't even recognize the fact that his ability to run and to represent the nation is greater than
his ability to
speak English.
He doesn't even need to speak English.
Yes. He has the skill, and he's using his skill, and he's working hard, and he's doing well.
He's doing what all the English grammar people cannot
do.
Yeah.
So your answers were just spot on.
You are not expecting those answers the way you are responding.
No, because of course when I come here, I don't even come with any. I just know that I'm going to get something that I've not thought about, and I've not
expectations.
Yeah, I just come knowing that I'm going to hear something I've not heard before. That's it.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah, I just know I'm going to ask my questions, and I'm going to hear something that I've not heard before, and there will be light, illumination that will come on any question that is asked. So that is great. That now there is an understanding to the root cause of our understanding of education with eloquence. Now I'm going to ask another question. With the Western education that we received from our colonial masters then, what were we meant to do as Nigeria, as a nation, with that Western education? What changes were we meant to implement? What were we meant to, how were we meant to receive that Western education and formulate it to what would be useful to us as a people? What didn't we do right? with the Western education that we received?
We didn't really, the education we received, like I said, was a grammar school education.
Yes.
So it was an education that was not meant to make us become the best that we could become. So the education we received, that is how we're using it now.
Yeah.
The education we received was for you to speak and understand English.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now.
So, but what,
The next purpose of that education that the colonial masters gave us is for us to get a job. And that's what everybody is looking for, white-collar job. To sit in the office and have an aircon, travel abroad and sit in, even if you read engineering, travel abroad, come back and sit in the office. That is the whole essence of the education we are giving right now. But that is not the kind of education that we are supposed to be giving. And that is not the purpose of true education.
Beautiful. Now, the question I asked, paraphrased, would be, what then is the true purpose of education?
So what kind of education were we supposed to have been given? That's what you meant to say.
Yes.
And what was the purpose, what is the purpose that education is supposed to play?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The role and the purpose that education is supposed to play and the kind of education we're supposed to have been given is not just comprehension. Because the purpose of education that we're given is about comprehension and citation. So that is also read and write. But the whole purpose of education is supposed to be, number one, critical thinking. That is the kind of education we're supposed to be given. But critical thinking is what makes you to get to the root of everything. To want to know why everything functions the way they are, either in nation or in human society. And when you get to know why things are the way they are, then you want to know the laws responsible for those things, then you could, so that you could recreate those things, reproduce those things, so you become producers. That is basically, if you want to say it in a layman's language, the most important education is the education that trains you to question everything. The education that is centered at the art of questioning. Because it is that that will lead you to innovation. It is that that will lead you to invention. It is that which will lead you to creativity. It is that which will lead you to science. It is that which will lead you to research. And it is that which will lead you to laws and principles. So the most important purpose of education is critical thinking, or the art of questioning. Any education that you have that does not embrace or include in itself the ability to masterfully ask questions and dig deep into critical thinking, that is not education, that is brainwashing. So whenever you go to school or you go to get education, that you are given knowledge without being given critical thinking and without being taught in the art of questioning, you are not educated, you are brainwashed. So that is the first emphasis of the education we're supposed to be having. But that is not the education we're given. Yeah. And that's why we are misfunctioning right now. But for us to really be educated, anybody that tells you they're educated, they will look for one thing in them. There are two major things to look for. But the first thing to look for is, how is their critical thinking? Are they critical thinkers? If they are not critical thinkers, even if they have PhDs, 10 of them, they are not educated. Nobody could be certified or said to be educated if he is not a thinker. And the way we know you're a thinker is in your questioning. or questioning ability or in your critical thinking. So that is the whole essence of education, because it is that critical thinking that brings about scholarship. And scholarship is intelligence. Intelligence comes when you look for the knowledge. Intelligence comes when it is the knowledge you gain, you acquire. And you acquire and gain something that you look for. And the only way to look for something intellectually is through questioning. But if the education that you are giving is in rendition or people delivering lectures to you, that is not education, because you are being given something that you have not had hunger for, that you have not gone after. Because anything you are given in terms of knowledge is never yours. It is only yours when you intentionally seek after it and you acquire it.
That's right.
The only knowledge that is yours is the knowledge that you acquire by yourself. So you could go to school for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, and you are being given lectures or knowledge. By the time you finish that school, you just give all the exam, give the exam, but you will never be able to practicalize those things after school. But the knowledge that you want to either not, maybe they are not even in those years of your school, the one that you get by yourself, the one that you pay the price for, the one that you went to look for, and you gain on your own, working on yourself to gain without anybody motivating you from the outside to go and get it. That is the knowledge that is your own. And it is that knowledge now that you can practicalize. That is why the whole essence of education, when you talk about education, the only people who are educated are the people who have been taught to become seekers of knowledge. That is why the highest level of education is not school education, and it's not certificate of education, and it's not degrees. The highest form of education is self-education. Because self-education is what is you have been motivated by yourself from inside to seek after, and you intentionally paying the price to gain that knowledge for yourself. Those are the ones that are yours, and those are the ones you are going to practice. But the one that is given to you from outside, as knowledge from outside, you get them as load, and they will be like burden to you. You want to finish as fast as possible. You want to finish that school. You like to you want to just gain the paper and the certificate and the diploma, and that's your purpose. So the knowledge is not retained. So you are not educated. That's why you could graduate with a paper, so then you will be looking for work or looking for job. But the person who have sought after knowledge by himself, out of curiosity and out of intellectual curiosity, out of the act of questioning, he doesn't look for job when he finishes.
Sure.
What he has discovered, it brings to pass, it manifests. So that is the kind of education that we have missed. And till today, it has not come to the mind of our people to introduce that kind of education to our culture. But in Western world, even from kindergarten, from primary school, people who live in the Western world now, they will agree with me that their children, when they go to school, once they begin to go to school like this, those children will come back home asking questions, because the Western world has discovered that the whole essence of education is in two things. One is in critical thinking. So even though your own children in the traditional African situation in the family or environment, they will say, don't talk, don't ask questions. But once they go to school, from primary 1 to primary 10 or primary 12, they keep on, primary 6, and then after that, secondary school, it is all about critical thinking. So by the time you finish school, primary school, secondary school, in the Western world, you are a different person. In fact, you are no more an African. You begin to think differently. You begin to criticize and challenge things. Because that is when you are educated. That is why even in Africa, people will finish engineering, people will finish medicine, people will finish all different kind of things. But when it gets to the job place, it is the Western people that are looking for to come and do it, because they are the ones who are educated. because our people will not be able to do it when they get there. They still need somebody to tell them how to do and what to do, because those people have learned through questioning, through inquiry, through critical thinking, so they can offload it, they can, put it together, and even our own people who are educated, they are only, for example, there is one guy they call Ebeka Nelson.
Yes.
He cannot speak English like most of the people who gone to university. He didn't even go to university, but he is more educated than any professor in the university that he wants to go to, because the professors in those universities, they were giving knowledge, so they can just repeat knowledge back to you, but they cannot invent anything. But Emeka Nelson, he didn't go to university, but through questioning, he's been able to discover how to do electricity, how to make electricity from water, how to turn water to electricity, how to turn dust waste to electricity. He can give electricity from anywhere, because it is through critical thinking that he had gained his knowledge without going to school. But the people who went to school were given that knowledge, so they can only point it back. They are not educated, even though they are professors. But he that cannot speak English, didn't go to any university, he is the one that's educated, because the knowledge he has gained is workable. And because he went for it by himself through self-education, he is the one that is truly educated, because he's the one that really knows what works, and is the one that can produce results. The other people, their knowledge cannot produce, they can only produce salary and a job.
Wow. Wow. Where do I start from?
That is the number one purpose of education.
Wow.
There will still be number two.
Of course.
There will be time.
Yeah, we'll create time for it. You made a statement I want to weigh in, and it's so good. And I actually see that could be a book on its own. You said the highest form of education. I think you said it by asking a question. What is the highest form of education? And as you asked that question, I was just thinking that what would be the responses of people? Most people will tell you the highest form of education is PhD.
Oh, wow. Is that so?
Yes. Well, that's the highest form. I mean, if you get a PhD, you've gotten to the height. I mean, you get your professorship, you get a doctorship. That's it. But
I just got a letter from a PhD and a professor yesterday.
Okay.
And maybe so that I will not go too far, let me read to you the letter. The person is a Nigerian, but who is a professor and a lecturer in a university in South Africa. I'm not a professor, and I'm not a lecturer in the university.
No.
But this person one day went to visit his colleague in a South African university. So he is the head of department of sociology, and he went to see a friend of his in another department. So when he went there, he saw my book. He saw one of my books, just one of my books. And after reading that book, that's when he wrote me this letter. And so I want to, I want to read the letter to you. Dear Pastor Adelaja, good day, sir. Me that didn't do PhD and I didn't do professorship or whatever. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not head of department. But the ones who are PhD, who are head of department, because you are talking of highest education.
The highest, so
okay, the professors. Do look what they are writing me. It was really interesting to come across one of your books. You mentioned the name of the book here. I saw it with a colleague in the Department of Sociology, University of South Africa. Okay, he saw in the Department of Sociology. Yeah, so he is, I think he is also from that department, yes. In South Africa University of South Africa. University of South Africa. And the people in that department, the other professor, they are using my book to teach people sociology.
But you're not a PhD.
I'm not even in sociology BSc, talk plus of PhD. I'm not even a master's in sociology. I studied sociology, but I didn't. It's not a degree course for me, just a subject.
Yeah.
And my book has become a textbook in South Africa, a country that I don't even know, they know about me at all. My book has become a textbook there. Because I get the knowledge by myself. It is the knowledge that you gain by yourself, self-education.
That is yours.
That is yours. And it is only somebody who studied like that that is educated. You are the one who will teach other people, the ones who went to school to get it. So in the University of South Africa, it is indeed a very inspiring book. I wish to know if the book can also be gotten in Nigeria. I hope to return back to Nigeria soon and would like to get a copy of the book. Again, it's a pleasure. Okay, he's a teacher, professor of sociology in Nigeria, but went to South Africa to see a colleague, and he saw my book being used there. So I teach in the university courses on globalization and sociology in the third world. Your thinking is so valid. It's thinking. Your thinking. He has never met me. He never heard about me. But one book said your thinking is beyond the ordinary. It's beyond the professors. And he has listened to a lot of professors, being a professor himself. You know how many years he has been studying. You know how many people I listened to. He said your thinking exceptional. It's valid and relevant for Africans' renaissance and development. I hope to keep in touch with you if you won't mind, sir. So I said I won't mind.
That's from a professor.
But what I'm just saying is that you said
the highest form of education.
And I'm trying to prove to you the highest form of education is self-education.
Yeah.
So I'm just now comparing self-education and the professorship that you are talking about.
Yeah. And the difference is clear.
And the same thing people say who have gone to Harvard, and I didn't go to Harvard, who have gone to Yale, they are my students now. I have disciples from Yale, from Harvard, from Oxford, from Cambridge. They are going there to get it. But through questioning, critical thinking, and self-education, I am going after it in such a way that I now become the ones that they are learning from. Same with you. Same with people who do that.
Wow.
You were telling, it was one of the programs, you were telling the audience that, it was after you finished medicine and after you have been in Europe for 10 years that you just started to learn, you just started to learn stuff. And can you imagine how many people have finished school and deceiving themselves that they are educated? But I told you people, each time you became, I said, I can't believe that you are educated. What school did you people go to? Did you people go to school at all? Did you people finish secondary school? Did you people finish the university one? I know medicine, that one is, but I know it's nothing because people just go and get job.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing we have been taught. But now you compare your own self when you started working with this model of self-inspiration, self-education, questioning, seeking, and yourself that was just passing all the exams and getting the admission. And getting out. Where did you even put your diploma self? You can't even remember. Because you've gotten a greater treasure.
That's true, Pastor. That's true, Pastor.
Compare yourself to that one.
Oh, big difference. Big difference. I don't want to talk about myself, but there is a statement that you said, and like you rightly, and what you just said, I sought after it. And I went into solitude and I started thinking about this statement. And this is how I say it. It might not be exactly the way you say it. The most important task of any human on earth is to give life to himself. The most important task.
Something is wrong with your microphone. I think your battery is dead.
No, it's still working fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Something just happened now.
It's still working fine. Can you confirm? Is everything
Think
okay?
something. You didn't feel that there was something. You didn't feel anything. You didn't sense anything.
No.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the most important duty and the most important task of every human being is to give life to himself. And
No, I wrote that in my book too.
in your book, yeah, and of course I know I learned it from you, and I went back to really refresh on it, and I got that was when I'd finished my medical school, and then I began to understand many of the things you were teaching about some of the most important things in life, and one of them is self-education. And then I started self-education, and it was like all I'd done so far was just like you rightly said, like I was just brainwashed. And I came to a conclusion that I'd not been living up until that time. I'd not been living, I'd just been existing. And I started living when I started seeking for the education myself.
Giving life to yourself.
Giving life to myself. Giving life to yourself through self-education. And it just changes your whole paradigm. And I began to understand why people don't understand you too, because when you
have been brainwashed their whole life.
Yes. So, but when you speak, you're always coming from a different perspective. You're always saying something that is anti their logic.
Anti-norm.
Yeah, it's anti-norm. So like everybody's saying this, and everybody sees that okay, yeah, this is. I mean, everybody's saying it, and that's it. That's how it's meant to be. But then here comes Sunday Adelaja, and Sunday Adelaja is saying the totally opposite thing. And then like, here comes this guy.
It's like he's crazy, he's lost his mind.
You've lost your mind. And that was the very impression I had about you, my very first encounter with you. Like, this man has lost his mind. What's he saying? But I never knew that I was the one who didn't even have a mind at all.
Because you only knew what they taught you.
Well, yeah.
What they gave to you. Yeah. How they are brainwashed and programmed you.
Programmed me.
Same thing with Bible.
That's true.
And people who say they are Christians right now.
Yes. Yes.
They don't have an idea.
No, Pastor.
Because they have not started critical thinking. They have not started questioning everything.
Yeah.
Even what they know, they have not questioned themselves and their knowledge.
That's right.
And it is only when they begin to do that they will say, like you said, I just started to leave.
I decided to leave, yes.
They will begin to leave. They think they are living now, but they are living the lies that they have been taught.
Yeah.
They are living the deception that they have been taught. They are living the non-truth that they have been taught.
Yeah. They're living the life that has been programmed by another person.
Inside them, for them. Not what they have discovered.
No. They are not the ones living. It's what every other person had designed for you. They've programmed your life for you. Dr. Sunday, this will be another discussion on another day. You know, you have to just wake yourself up and smell the coffee. That, hey, have I actually met myself? And have I actually started living?
You know, I know what that looks like, because I remember when I started to preach, the first message that I was asked to preach, this is very funny, and this is how many people live up to today, was when I was 19 years old. I was going to be 20, and I was a Christian already for like 7 months, 8 months. And I was so on fire, and I was already in Russia. And the head of the fellowship underground church said, next Sunday, it is going to be Brother Sunday that's going to preach to us. And I preached a fiery message for 30 minutes. Everybody was so impressed. Everybody was saying, wow, this is the hand of God. But what I did is that all important phrases and scriptures that I've ever had,
Just combine all of them.
I got a scripture, the one that has inspired me the most. And that is what people do. Right. Their messages and their teachings are what they have had one way or the other, one time or the other from preachers, other preachers. They never get their own revelation. True. But those are the really, because it inspired them when they had it. So that is what they keep on saying. And so I was doing the same thing. But I didn't have my own it within, my own encounter.
Yeah.
I didn't make them my own.
That does not become flesh.
No, it didn't become fly. I just went to my notebook now, and I'd written them down. Gather everything, comprehension, composition, actually. Composition, not comprehension. Composition.
You're just reading it out.
Not like those lecturers.
Yeah.
And I got a round of applause and a big ovation. That is how people are still living.
True.
So I know what you're talking about.
Wow. I want to give an invitation to our viewers because there's still one more, the second part to the answer. I've not forgotten that. But I want our viewers to know that you can join the conversation, all right? If you're watching us on YouTube and on Facebook, the way to join today's conversation is to go to Facebook Messenger. So you go to Facebook Messenger and you search for Move Agents. So Move Agents, it ends with an S. Move, as in M-O-V-E, one word, Agents, A-G-E-N-T-S. So search for Move Agents on Facebook Messenger and write to us that you would like to join to this conversation, you'd like to share your thoughts, and when that time comes, we're going to give you a call, right? So Dr. Sunday, let's go to the second reason, or better put, the second essence of education.
The second essence of education, the first essence of education, just like I've said, is critical thinking. Teach people to question everything, the art of questioning. And teach people to the essence of education and the most important form of education, which is self-education. The second essence of education, for you to say somebody is educated, apart from the person having critical thinking, the person still has to have another thing in addition to that. And that is why people who you say I'm crazy is because they don't possess these things. And so when I come to challenge their status quo and their
paradigms
and worldviews that they've been built into them, have been built into them,
yes,
they are in conflict with me and with mine, and they don't even want to consider and analyze and reason and compare and research what I say to see the truth in it. But they just want to fight it because it will unruffle them and destroy their foundation. And they don't want that discomfort because people don't like change. People resist change because it brings discomfort to them. Change brings discomfort to them. So, but the second form of, the second manifestation of education, and which is also the second proof that somebody is educated, for you to believe that anyone is educated, apart from possessing the act of thinking and questioning, they must understand how life is built. So if you say you are educated and you don't know how life is built and how life is meant to function, you will be living by mysteries. You'll be thinking that life is a mystery and life is something that can never be understood. You'll be thinking that life and cosmology and universe is beyond man. You'll be thinking that the earth and the composition of the cosmos is beyond comprehension. So if you begin to think or believe that lie, it will now transform you to an individual who will always be driven by mysticisms. And you begin to have the tendency of believing more in terrestrial realities than operating and ruling over the earth. Since if you don't know this second aspect of education, which is the essence and on what basis the earth is based and functions, if you don't know that, you will become a superstitious individual. You will be dependent on nature instead of ruling over nature. You will become an individual that will see the nature and the occurrences of life as something bigger and higher than yourself. You will be at the mercy of creation rather than being the Lord and master of creation. You will not have the ability to control circumstances and the reality of life in and around you, but you will rather be under the subject of elements of life. Elements of life will now hold you into captive, and you will become a slave to occurrences, to terrestrial superstitions and, mysticisms. You will be under the powers of nature rather than you creating the force of nature and causing them to move and to act according to your order. And that is what education is supposed to give to us. And because the education we have in Africa does not give us that, what has that led to? That has led to our people being mysterious, being superstitious, and falling into the deception of religion and making themselves become victims of charlatan psychopaths. Either they are coming through witchcraft, traditional religions, or Christianity or Islam. You become a a stooge in the hand of anybody that comes to you with some supernatural stories. And that is the same thing that has led our people to follow like herd. Herd of animals follow after their the head animal or shepherd. You just like a cattle, like in a flock of cattle. You'll be following after miracles like that. And you'll be seeking like after miracles, but really not knowing that you have become a victim of mirage. So you'll be living a superstitious lifestyle. And you'll become victims of religion and religious manipulations. So our whole country is under this spell right now. We are under the spell of ignorance. We are under the spell of religiosity. We are under the spell of miracle workers. We are under the spell of terrestrial missionaries. We are under the spell because of the failure of our education. Because the education that we went through, saying that we're educated, has not really been education. Was never an education. It was a shaft, rubbish, a fake, a false. Because what we have been given is not education. It is just selling into slavery, being sold into Egypt. So what is this aspect of education that is so important that will make me to reach those conclusions? Any education that you have gone through, either it is onto the PhD level or medical education or science education or engineering or whatever you have read in school, if it didn't lead you to understand the functionality of life and the inbuilt system of nature and creation, which is in one statement alone. If education, your whole system of education did not teach you this one thing, you are not educated. You have just been brainwashed. So what is that one thing? That one thing is the whole essence, apart from critical thinking, the other essence of education is that you will understand that life itself functions by law. And the most cardinal law upon which the earth and life and gravity and universe and cosmology itself is based is the law of cause and effect. If you don't know that life, either it is psychology, it is sociology of life, or anthropology of life, or science of life, or engineering of life, every aspect of life, life itself, and the whole processes of life is based on cause and effect. And what does that mean? That means that anything we see operational or functioning today has a root reason. There are reasons for everything. If there is anything functioning, if there is anything that appeared, you must want to get to the root. There is A, you are seeing a Z, or you are seeing a B. So when you are seeing B, B is what you are seeing in the surface. Look for the A. That B you are saying started from A. Cause and effect. Whatever we see naturally in life is called effect. And the essence of education is for you to understand that effect that you are seeing is not mysterious. It's not a mystery. There is an A underneath that is moving that effect, that B. Look for the A. Then you'll be able to understand life and how life is built. Then if anything goes wrong with the B that you are seeing here as an effect, you will be able to connect it back to A, and you'll be able to fix it and reproduce that B back to where it was before. That is the whole essence of education and science. The first thing, the art of question, is teaches you scholarship. The second thing I'm saying, that life is based on cause and effect, teaches you science. Those are the two arms of education, scholarship and science. Scholarship is connected to critical thinking and the art of questioning. Science is connected to laws, that everything in life has a reason. And there are laws that are responsible for all things that we see. And if we see anything, it's because there is a cause for it. Get to the root of that cause. Get to the root cause of it. That is what hypotheses are based on. That is what is called scientific method of reasoning. And if you have not been taught this, you are not educated, even if you have 10 PhDs. And that's what they didn't teach us in what is called education. And we become victims of thinking that eloquence is education.
Wow. Wow. Profound, Dr. Sunday. Profound.
Sorry it took so long for me to.
No, it had to take that long for us to get it. Because, this is the essence of what we're doing. If we can't get our people to be exposed to this new understanding, then there is no hope really for Nigeria, and not just for Nigeria. There is no hope for Africa, and permit me to say that there is no hope for the world also, because imagine what you're saying is understood by everybody. I mean, we will cease being victims of life, because I see people, and I've been opportune, they're just being around you, and I've seen people who one would say have the education, as many people would say, PhDs, people who will be defined as successful, doctors, engineers, and they come and they share their stories of how 50 years of their lives have been wasted and how they've been victims of life. And it's because they're devoid of this knowledge you're sharing here. It is because they've not come across the understanding of life as you've described it. They've not been educated. So
because people always ask that questions. They say, but why is it that educated people have become victims in these churches? Why is it that educated people go to Babalawo? Why is it that people who have finished university, professors, are even sitting in those churches and they don't question anything? Yeah, no. Why is it that people will slap a girl and people will be sitting there, and people who are doctors, who are lawyers who are this? Because they are not educated. They just got a profession, they got a job. Right. You remember the two purposes of the colonial education is to communicate, to speak, eloquence, and to get a job, white collar job. There is no education there. Wow. Sorry, I cut you short.
Yes, and no, I'm just trying to explain to you why you don't need to apologize that it took that long. And I said we need it to be that long for us to get the point, because we have to get that point. If we want to rebuild Nigeria, if we want to replace Nigeria, this is where we start. And if we don't address issues like this, that goes to our mindsets, our thinking, our philosophy, our paradigms, our worldviews, then no matter what we do, if we bring infrastructures, if we build hospitals, if we do all of those things, the people, their content is not changed. I mean, they're still going with that warped understanding of life, and they're not educated. So, I mean, a big appreciation to you for communicating your thoughts and communicating our understanding right from your heart. Anyone who listens to you would know that this is not you trying to pass knowledge out. This is you pouring out your heart and making people to understand the urgency and the importance of the message you're passing across. And that's one thing that separates you from a lot of people who speak. I mean, you hear a lot of speakers, they're just speaking to pass knowledge. They're just speaking to paste what they copied from someone. But when you speak, you're not pasting what you got from someone. You're communicating for people to be transformed. You're communicating for change to happen. And like you said, that is one thing that, although it's constant in life, people resist, and that's change. So you can't listen to Dr. Sunday's message and not want to change. It's to evoke change. So thank you, Dr. Sunday, for that. There's a book that you can see on your screen, dear viewers. That book is titled Rid Yourself of Shallow-mindedness. And shallow-mindedness is the effect of lack of education. Because if we are truly educated, then we won't be shallow-minded. Because you're shallow-minded because you lack the two things that Dr. Sunday has spoken about. This just said, because you lack critical thinking, because you lack the ability or the art of questioning, because you're not involved and you've not devoted yourself to self-education, and of course because you've not come to that understanding that life is based on cause and effect, and that's the reason why you have that shallow-mindedness. So this book is designed to help you read yourself. You see, there's a brain there. It's like the book is there to work on your brain and on your mind. So you can get this book for free if you are an Amazon Kindle Unlimited subscriber. Not just this book, but all of Dr. Sunday's books are for free there. And if you're in Nigeria, you can order for this book and other books on dsabooksplanet.com. dsabooksplanet.com. And that's if you're in Nigeria. The other book is titled Mountain of Ignorance. Can we have the book on the screen? Yeah. I mean, look at the heap of ignorance that is on the heads of these people. That's the reality of Nigeria and a lot of people in Africa. We are just carrying ignorance and we are arrogant about it. That's the sad part of it. We think we know a lot, but we know nothing. But this book is titled Mountain of Ignorance, and it's also in tandem with our discussion today. You want to get this book. Everyone who has read this book, most people say this book has to be in our educational system. This is the most. I've had someone say that this is the most important book that Sunday has written. The person was like, this book everybody on earth must read. Oh, truth be told, all of Sunday's books, you get the same kind of feeling. So please do go to get this book. The same way you can get the book on Amazon, you can get the book on Amazon. You can also get the book on dsabooksplanet.com. If we have callers, we can start receiving our callers from now. But while our callers are coming in, if you don't mind, I can ask one more question, or should we just end it here?
Well, I'm at your mercy, sir.
Like the Sunday said, it's at my mercy. Okay, very quickly. I would like you to ask this final question, and it's connected to the advent of universities in Nigeria. And I'm asking, do you have a caller already? Oh, all right. Let's get the caller then. Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Anu and Dr. Sunday. It's a pleasure to be online.
Good to have you.
My name is Adobe calling from California.
I was going to say that, but your voice almost confused. I was about to say, that would
if
be...
it's my mother.
oh, your mom. And then,
No, I know it's not a mom.
But I said, when I heard your voice, I was like, okay, let me not be too forward. Let me just say, good to have you.
Nice catch.
Awesome.
What a powerful conversation. I was so excited. I had to confirm, please. I hope this is a live broadcast.
That's why you are calling it live now. We they hear you. But why is it important? Why should you leave it live in a broadcast?
DSA, you are shaking a very eloquent table. This table you are shaking is a very serious one, because I wrote down a few points, but as the conversation kept on going, I had to keep adding more points. Information DSA is the biggest cartel in the world.
In the world.
That's right.
It's like what they say about your medical system in America, that what they call it, pharmaceutical industry. That is the biggest cartel in America.
True.
But DSA, it's information they have.
Yes.
People don't know anything about GMO until somebody breaks the news, and then everybody starts to shut up.
Yeah.
People don't know anything about how poor the insurance and health insurance system is until somebody breaks the news. With the exposure of Wikipedia and all the what's his name, Edward Snowden.
Yes.
Information is the biggest sale. That's why Google is relevant. That's why Facebook, social, everybody thrives on information.
Yeah.
Education is just a subset. Education is get these people, make them valuable to the economy. That's the whole point.
Of education.
If you want to get 3 PhDs, you are just going to be a clog in the wheel.
Yeah, just going to look for a job.
You're just going to be relevant to the system. If you want to be relevant to your,
it's just for you to maintain the system of the world.
That's all. Somebody mentioned, when a lady was talking about black, because this is Black History Month in America, so there's a lot of topics coming up by different speakers. A lady said some people confuse raising children with maintaining children. Maintaining children is giving them clothes, food, taking them to school, making sure that... So raising a child has a lot more to do with both mental and emotional maturity, and it needs to come from both parents. And that is why a lot of Black Americans have this violent and unstable, volatile mindset towards what's happening to them, because they never really healed. And these are not things that people talk about. You see, information gathering. This is why our Nigerian universities, and it's not just Nigerian universities, a particular professor in Canada Dr. Jordan Peterson, said he apologized in a public hearing. He said he is apologizing for the evil that universities are causing because they've stopped educating people and are now becoming propaganda in the hands of politicians. And you're having simple-minded people reacting to things that, look, life happens. You can't be emotional and feeling your way through life. That was his point, that there are too many oversensitive, over pompous, unknowledgeable or ignorant people who seem to take political sides without even understanding the relevance of where they stand. It's just how they feel. What has feeling got to do with facts? Our Nigerian educational system teaches you to copy and produce. No more, no less. Even the political climb. I mean, not to shade Professor Osibanj. Let's not forget, it says Professor Osibanj. But he believes that God will determine the course of Nigeria. What's the point of professor if you're still going to the direction of a physical system in the hands of an invisible being? What's the purpose?
Paganism at work, paganistic worldview.
That's all we did. And here's it. Initially, I was actually trying to say the forms of communication have changed over time. It started with storytelling, and it moved to writing, and you could have even braille for the blind. Then it moved to drawings and pictures where you could go into a cave, and they tell you this is how the ancient people communicated. You can tell this was where Egyptian civilization was based on the drawings on the wall. And then we are now in a technological period of audible. There are very few people who buy books. But if you look at the number of subscriptions on audio companies, Audible for one, and there are so many audio books, because the world is moving at such a pace, unless you're having a long train ride, which most people don't want to do. Everybody wants to fix their mind on listening. You have radios, you have podcasts. People want to grab information at such a fast pace. But if you will reading then demands you to pay attention, to be imaginative, to have a critical perspective to what you are reading, because nobody is going to tell you what something means. You have to interpret it by yourself.
True.
And you see, our culture does not question authority. So education, or even self-education, has failed before it was birthed in the African culture. We do not question deity, you do not question authority, all the way to the single family unit. You don't ask your parents why, otherwise you receive a slap in the mouth. So in the Western culture, God is at the background. He has no play, as far as they are concerned, he plays no role in the everyday to-day life. So they can't depend on him to know physics. That was why the church killed off the likes of, I think it was Galileo or the rest of them, because they were questioning supreme authority. How dare you? And then you ask yourself, if Western civilization in their nascent years could do that to people who are now the authors and owners and the fathers of Western knowledge, where do you think we lie in that spectrum in Africa? Who do we hold as the father or mother of knowledge in Africa? Who do we place and say, this person was killed because of this, but now we are very grateful for the body of knowledge he has acquired? Nobody. So unless you want to take the mantle and the position DSA, but I do not envy you at all. I nowhere know how envy the mountain of job or the responsibility you are carrying, because you are carrying an entire race.
You only need to go and read the comments now. Culture. They are killing me too every day. Go and read the comments. You will see my crucifixion every day. Or go to the Google and read what they are writing about me. They are killing me. They are assassinating me every day.
If a whole Catholic church or if a whole Western church could kill and maim and boil people, let's look at the trials of the apostles. They were not even speaking that God was not relevant. They were saying that God is no longer relevant in a certain way. Change causes discomfort, just like you said. And people, if there's one thing that is anti-human, it is change. Yet, the only way to be human is to change.
Yep.
the only way to be human. Dr. Peterson says he doesn't take it lightly when people think human beings are not intelligent, that we are the most adaptive creatures ever created. In fact, the reason why human babies were born helpless is because we learn to adapt. Every other animal, within 20 minutes, an antelope is walking, a deer is walking, a lion cub is walking. Within 10 minutes, even a gorilla or an ape's infant or cub, or they are able to cling to their mothers. But a human baby requires extra, if not 24-hour surveillance, or they die. But you see, that is where the adaptive mechanism starts. You begin to grow, you begin to learn, you begin to change. Just like you said, education is learning, unlearning, and relearning. That whole sentence is the adaptive DNA in every human being. And that is why we've come to appreciate learning as civilization and technology. Old civilizations have gone with their level of thinking. We are coming up with our own. Whether we like it or not, the future is in the hand of younger people. And if their learning is stifled, I pity Africa. Because this level of subjugation we are experiencing in Africa would be more if the younger generation do not even feel that they can express themselves. It's only when they can express themselves, then Africa can be on a level playing ground. No matter the foundations that have been laid, if they do not feel the need to pursue knowledge on their own interest, like you said, the knowledge you internalize is the only one you can reproduce. Let me give space to others to speak, but this is a very wonderful conversation. Thank you, Dr. Anu. It's like you're always going, you dig deep somewhere to get these things done. Don't dig too deep and get lost down there. Thank you so much, and thank you.
All right, brilliant as usual. Beautiful job.
Thank you for your contribution. Interesting. Wow. So Sunday, before the next caller, do we have how many? We still have more callers, right? Okay, let's get the callers. Maybe I'll just put.
You want to ask that's your last question?
Yeah, let's get the caller. If possible, I would. If not, we'll do it the next episode.
No, let them go and read the book.
Yeah, they could read the book.
Mountain of Ignorance.
It's true.
Oh, this one. Read
and there are
yourself.
many books that they can read actually to get even the answer to the question I want to ask. All right.
The one I was talking about, I mean, the statement that you were talking about, giving life to yourself, is in one of my books. I think it is it a man or a mouse, or I'm a person, am I a personality? I think I'm a person, am I a personality?
Yeah, I'm a person, I'm not a person. I'm
a person,
am
I a personality?
Yes. Yeah, it's there.
I'm a person.
I saw something like that in A Visionary's Life is a Meaningless Life.
Yes.
There's also that concept.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we have a caller already. Okay, good evening, caller.
Hello, yes. Hey.
We need you to put off your Facebook or YouTube so that we don't hear ourselves. We are hearing our echo.
Yeah.
Hello? On time, show.
Hello, can you hear me? Dear say.
No, we need you to put off your device so that to reduce the voice there, not put it off. To reduce the voice over there, because otherwise I'm hearing myself over there. I shouldn't be hearing myself.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello, DSA, my lovely DSA, and my Dr. Anu. In fact, you guys, you are just too much. You are not yet in Nigeria, and you are shaking all the issues, all the front burner issues in Nigeria. That is so awesome.
We would like to.
I can imagine if you guys
Do you know him?
actually get to Nigeria, like you said in one of your videos, that would definitely be a real tsunami. Real tsunami in
Nigeria needs the tsunami now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what, DSA? I can't wait to see you in that continent. Honestly. I honestly, you know.
Is that John from Canada or what?
This is Matthew from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, Matthew, today, why are you so moved today? Today you are very agitated or excited.
Who will hear your voice and will not be moved? What are you saying? What are you saying in DSA? Eh? Dr. Anu, let me tell you something. You are just so fortunate that you are sitting beside DSA every day.
I agree. 100%.
You know what?
You go take him from him.
If you refuse to take all the necessary anointing, all the necessary thing from DSA, then I'm coming right away from Cincinnati to come and snatch DSA. Like you said, DSA, I'm just 50 years this month by 26. You know?
Congratulations.
And then listening to all your stuff, man, it seems as if I've not been born at all. As if I've not come to the world.
That's what Anu was saying now. Anu said he was born just 2-3 years ago.
Oh, that's what he said. That is the truth to himself and to the world.
Yeah.
You speak the truth to yourself about the truth.
Yes.
You know. You see, you know what?
No, we can't hear your voice. Bring it closer. Speak closer to the microphone.
My device is stick to my ear. What is going on?
Okay, we hear now.
It's better now, yes.
It's better now.
Yes.
You remember I was the one that called the other time that said I'm devising the almighty formula to solve. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. That is why am I still going to Nigerian churches?
Yes.
I'm in US, and then I told you, don't worry. You know, systematically, the Lord will really see me through.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm more or less, I'm holding some vital function and things like
Matthew,
that.
do you know I have a book by that topic? The Almighty Formula.
I beg. Is there Amazon?
No, you not there yet. It's there for inside me.
I mean, put Amazon for me, make I get them from here. DSA.
Yeah.
Empty yourself with all the relevant material we need to use to be able to equip ourselves the more.
Okay.
Educational system in Nigeria. I imagine I'm just 50 years old. I'm a trained accountant. You understand? And what I've discovered is, oh my God!
If you are an accountant,
thinking is
Matthew.
Yeah, I'm an accountant.
If you are an accountant, how long have you been working as accountant?
This is my 20 years, man.
No.
I'm serious.
Have you? When did you make your first $1 million? $1 million in US.
What do you $1 million? As I'm talking to you now, I'm going to Uncle Sam's residence. This
is hilarious.
What are you? You know the system now. You know why I'm so happy is that, you know, I actually am privy to some of your material that I'm using to develop myself.
No, if you are still going to Uncle Sam, why didn't you join the Millionaires Club that I started?
You started Millionaire Club.
You are not aware.
I'm not privy to that. I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
How can I get that?
You have to write Dr. Anu after the program.
Yeah. On Facebook.
Okay, I will do that.
Write him on Facebook.
Dr. Anu.
Anu Ojo.
On Facebook.
Yeah,
Anu Ojo. Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Anu, please, before Matthew continues, tell him the testimony I just sent to you today. How long did it take that guy to make his first $1 million?
It was less than 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. The guy.
DSA, you know what I want to do now? It seems I will shut down and I will fly straight to Kyiv. Honestly. Let me tap all the necessary thing I need to tap before you fly to Nigeria.
No, but you know the world has become electronic now. You don't even need to. In fact, there are people who are on that millionaires club right now from America, from that your state you are talking about now.
Yeah. Uncle Anu, please show me the.
I know you know me.
He just took me to uncle.
He took you to another level.
Uncle Anu,
one way like me.
When we are growing up in Nigeria, you know this comedian program, Across the Sea, show me the way.
Yes.
Uncle Anu, I would love to join. I would love to join that.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Because why should you be suffering for 20 years? 20 years as an accountant.
No, you know what?
You can do it in 3. Look, what the something I give to my people, I give them assurance, 3 years. If you join the club, if you don't become 3 years, then you can take your money back.
Okay, like how much do I need to? Okay, I'll get all the details from Anu, right?
Yes. It is a paid something, no? It's a closed group.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Anu, I will get in touch with you.
Sure.
Please, no, that is highly important.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You see, back to business, DSC. And I think it has been something that has been bothering me for long. We heard of cases of our, people in Nigeria coming down, especially the engineers, to compete with the world class, and they beat them.
Yes.
Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm.
They compete with the world. They sit with those guys that are inventing things that we are using now, and they beat them. Nigerians.
Yes.
They have the brain. They beat them. But when they get to our country, you see, they become idle. They could not perform. And one of the reasons, when I was going through the HMT on system building,
yes,
and that really showed me this as the reason why these people are handicapped. That really answered that question, because there is no any functioning system at home.
Yes.
And as such, they could not even really perform. Now,
yes,
you know what? The kind of education we are given in Nigeria, you see, is just like for us to be able to speak English, to be fluent. Just
you cash out. You got it.
Just to be able to speak phone. Now I will tell you something. That's one of the interviews when I was in Nigeria. Actually, I got to US in 2017.
Okay.
Are you getting it? So all over my years I've been in Nigeria. Okay. So one of the interviews we normally do for the accountant we want to hire in our company, and I will tell you one of the things we realized. That I realized that the fluency syndrome, the danger is causing in Nigeria economy. Now, you present about after you present not all of them have that gift to be able to express themselves, the way so-called well-accepted, way. You understand?
Yes.
Best practice. But looking at the pedigree and their profile, I noticed there are some that have very, very cognate experience, very, very knowledgeable in the role that we are trying to advertise, that I've applied for. But what happened? They might not be able to, present their thoughts as eloquent as, the people really want it, the panel. Because of that, they are deprived of such position.
Yeah.
Very shameful. You can't just say English language is just, they've qualified it. They said English and language. It's language.
Yes.
It's not, it doesn't have anything that has to do with
education or intelligence.
Yeah, intelligence.
You are right. It's language. You know what? When I go to US, my mind was, I'll be blowing English anyhow. But the more I blow grammar, the more those guys got confused. They look at me. So what is saying? They don't even hear grammar like us.
Yes.
What they want is the experience.
Yes.
You have a complete experience, whether you speak Hausa or Fulani. So far, you have the experience that they need. You are the job. You get the job, and you're moving.
Get the job done.
You move. You begin to work. Experience is what is required.
Yeah.
And the society is driven by experience.
Yeah.
I think that is why they are getting it right.
Yeah.
But ours at home, you find that no, we want somebody that will be able to speak for the next or Queen's English, American English. Is a big issue. They will not be able to deliver.
Yeah.
So who are you fooling?
Yeah.
Who are you fooling? I have a lot of cases like that because I was a senior manager before I left Nigeria. I have a lot of cases like that. People are genuine with their experience. People have that what it takes. But because they don't speak Queen English or they are not eloquent, they are not fluent in their spoken English, you deny them of that job. And then you put somebody that don't even know anything. Because that person was of you, and you are just shaking because you have Queen's English. You are just nodding your head. Oh, excellent. And when it gets to the job, you discover that such people are seriously men. From one thing, they cannot deliver, and that is what the educational system in Nigeria is doing to the entire society.
Wow.
I'm telling you, what we need to do, though you have been actually, to change the entire, educational curriculum that we are using currently. Either that curriculum is just what I can term lo crame, lo poe. You know what that means? You know what that means?
That is French.
The French. That is the way you cram it. That's the way you just pour it.
Yes.
You get it? And that is what majority of us, that we just cram things. You don't sit down to analyze it. You don't sit down to look at the law and principle behind it. You don't sit down to ask questions. You don't sit down to do research, to discover things by yourself. The things that you discover by yourself will stick into your memory for long.
Yes, sir.
In fact, you die.
Yeah.
Rather than, now I remember when I was still growing up, a lot of things that I crammed in school, I can't remember them again.
Yeah.
Doctor, I know. When I was doing my chemistry,
Yeah.
elements, I can't, because the system forced me to cram. If you don't cram it, you cannot pass.
Yeah.
And the moment you cram it, you get to the exam, you just open the tap. And what happened? The tap gushes out. Brrrr.
Yeah.
And you got your marks, and then you said you are qualified. And that is what is killing us. You have millions of people, graduates, that are half-baked now. Because all what they know is, come on, don't worry. I want to do this exam, just give me the textbook. In 3 days, I will cram it and I will pass. 2 days, 4 days after that, the exam, ask them, what have they achieved? The same thing, ask them, they forgot it. And that is highly, highly unacceptable.
Yeah.
And that is what is killing us. Now, to tell you how this thing has gone far, I remember my son when I was in Nigeria. He's just, by the time we were in Nigeria, he was just around 8 years, 7 years. And I look at the total number of subjects they are doing. Getting to almost 18 subjects. 18 subjects.
Wow.
And I asked him, you mean you are doing all these? I said, yes, Daddy. After the school, they wait for prep. After leaving prep, they get home. They give them homework. The guy will get home and will not be able to eat. He will sit and be doing his homework till death in the night. So I look at it. You see, all these things have been commercialized. There are some irrelevant subjects that they are doing that will not have value to those children's lives. It's because some publishers, some writers, they want to sell their books. So they will impose that on those children and they will cover some subject out of it that they need to do it. When I was growing up, I could see, we call one subject general mathematics, English language, sciences. Those are the books my senior sibling used. And I can still make use of them. The situation is not the same now. Everything has been centered on us now. They cannot ask questions. People cannot think straightforward. And that is also another thing from the church as well. Whatever the pastor says, they will just take it. Who can sing that? No question. And I think it has time we need to wake up. I don't know, dear, say what can still be done before you get to Nigeria. Probably if we have a link with what do you call it, the educational ministry in Nigeria, and probably you can start holding meetings with them, because that thing is very, very germane as we speak. We can't allow things to still lie fallow to when you come back.
Yeah.
Or to when you are fully, let's start doing, and not all this program you are doing, but then let's start, hitting the appropriate quarters to push all these things, or push it on their table. Let them understand why we need to, move ahead with the war. I just listened to your what do you call it? Why you are giving kudos to Sanwo-Olu and how he banned Okada. And I look at what is going on. You charge one Indian man that if the Indian man is claiming that he loves the Okada man that loves their job, that he should convert those Okadas to taxis for them, which is fine. That is the solution. But the man is telling lies because he knows the system. They love lies.
Yes.
They love deceit.
Yes.
You even charge guy to go to UK, to New York, and bring all his Okada to New York.
Yes.
Get sales for it. But because a lot of people in Nigeria, the authority, they will not embrace any of your ideas if they are not going to have a bite of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Corruption at all levels. Corruption in all spheres of life. You mentioned 6 or 7 spheres of life in Nigeria. Corruption has eaten everything. So what are we going to do? And that is really what I am really, really, really happy to be part of the first league. I'm so happy to be part of this team. And I will do all I need to do. Continue digging. If I'm not there with you in the teachings there are really, redefining my life.
Amen.
They are really doing the magic. That is the word of the truth. You don't need to move to where the truth is emanating from. The truth is universal.
Yes, yes.
The moment it's bespoken and you follow it,
Yes.
you will get results.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, DSA. And I'm shocked that Dr. Anu is saying that with all his pedigree, with all his education, all his doctorates and things like that, he too is just learning. I give credit to him because he's a sincere man. He's a sincere man.
Yes.
Nobody want to have DSA by his side and then be trying to pose with whatever you have. You empty yourself of all the knowledge you have. Empty it and trash it.
Yes.
It's more or less like you reformat your brain, your system.
Yes.
You see, when computer is full of virus, what happened? They run a system to reformat the disk, everything.
Yes.
So that it can receive fresh command and instruction.
Yeah.
And that is what we are doing. We people following DSA, that is exactly what we pray the Lord will help us. DSA, I love you so much. Dr. Anu, I love you too.
Thank
Where
you.
is my brother now? I've not been seeing him.
He has traveled, he has left the country.
Yeah, he's not in Ukraine anymore.
Wow. Is it Nigeria, right?
He went to Nigeria, but he's now in Europe.
Yes.
Oh, I want to warn him. He should not go to Nigeria now because so that they will not set him up. They will say this small boy that is lambasting us on YouTube. Please look for him and bring him for me.
Thank
He
you.
just stay in Europe until the coastal becomes clear.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Let me give room for other caller to talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Dr. Anu,
Yes,
on
sir.
Facebook, right?
Yeah, Anu Ojo, Facebook.
I know, Joe.
Yes.
I'll get in touch with you. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
So much.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, bye. Bye.
Fantastic. Wow, he was definitely excited.
He's been excited before, but today,
it was a whole different level.
yeah.
Awesome. Great conversation.
Even you yourself were excited, but
yeah.
his own he blew the roof.
Yeah, it blew the roof off. Yeah, it blew the roof off. It was.
He was so excited. I couldn't even recognize who was calling.
yeah. I don't. Do we still have callers? Okay, that's the final caller for today. All right. I think that will be where we're going to bring today's episode to a close. To our dear viewers watching us all over the world, thank you for being with us on another episode of Fixing Nigeria. I think right now we can't claim to be ignorant anymore. So just like the Bible said that the days of ignorance has been, how does it put it? You have been forgotten and forgiven. I think that's how it is also for us now. We can't claim not to know anymore. But even beyond that, the onus is on us and the responsibility is on us to be agents through which this knowledge and this understanding to be spread across board. So I'd like to encourage everyone who is watching us right now, please do well to share this video to bring that light to another person or to a group of people that you know would need this discussion that we had today. I think that's the least that you can do, at least to share this message. Like I announced earlier, you can get the books that we showed today, The Mountain of Ignorance and the other book titled Read Yourself Off Shallow-Mindedness. You can get these books if you're a subscriber on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. You can also order the books in Nigeria on dsabooksplanet.com. From me, I want to say thank you for being with us once again. I will see you next Friday for another episode. Over to you, Dr. Sunday.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. I hope you'll be able to go back to the YouTube channel and go one by one through all those messages that are there. Go not just one by one, but series by series. Go and look for the series by series, and you'll be able to, gain a lot of knowledge and wisdom for yourself. And you will also be feeling that you are born again and that you are alive now. You'll be able to give life to yourself.
That's right.
We'll see you next time. Peace.